It's high. Got it! Unbelievable! Dreams to come true. This is March Madness.
On a mild 58-degree early evening in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The staff going a little artsy on us here at the start. We welcome you back. Second round action of the 2011 NCAA tournament. Crowd filing in for the night session this afternoon. Texas and Arizona advance to Sunday's third round. We're getting ready for a number 1 seed versus a number 16. The 16 Boston University going against one of the powerhouses in the nation, the Jayhawks of Kansas. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert. This is Steve Kerr. We'll be joined in a moment by Craig Sager working the sidelines. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. And first, for the Terriers of BU, and their number 1 player going through a little problem with his ankle. He's the American East Player of the Year, John Holland, but not at full strength. Although the coaches say he is all right. And for Kansas, at 32-2, 14-2 in the Big 12, the firepower up front, twin firepower with the combination of Marcus and Marquise. High-definition television broadcast for March Madness provided by LG. Kansas in control. This is Tyshawn Taylor. He is working the point. Tyrell Reed and Brady Morningstar for 3. Rebounded by John Holland.
And BU comes out in his zone. And that's something we'll probably see quite a bit of, trying to deal with this deep and versatile Kansas attack.
The 2 losses suffered by Kansas at home against Texas in January, at Kansas State in mid-February. That's the 3-point attack. Morris with the back tap. Here is Reed. Morningstar. They work it around quickly. And rebounded by DJ Irving.
Slow start for the Jayhawks, missing some very makeable shots. And they come out in their man-to-man. They're going to try to put a lot of pressure on this freshman point guard, DJ Irving.
The officiating crew, Brian Dorsey, Bert Smith, Glenn Truitt. Allen working inside. Markieff Morris averages 13 points, 8 rebounds. His twin brother Marcus Morris, 17-7. Marcus, the Big 12 Player of the Year.
Both players very versatile. The ability to step outside, make a jump shot, and as you saw there, the jump hook down on the block. Both brothers have that shot, and I think that's probably the big difference in this game. Is just the depth and strength of Kansas on the front line.
Strong move by Holland. John Holland, out of the Bronx in New York in his senior season. Pass broken up, intended for Reed. Stepped out of bounds.
Unfortunate, because the Terriers had numbers in transition. And Irving, just that little step backwards in the turnover. You take a look at Patrick Chambers, second season at Boston U. He spent a lot of time at Villanova under Jay Wright, and has a similar coaching style. Very passionate. His practice yesterday extremely upbeat. The players completely in tune with what he was trying to accomplish. Very impressive coach.
That's a 3. Tyshawn Taylor, who shoots just under 40% from downtown, to give Kansas the 5-2 lead. A little pressure here by the Jayhawks. DJ Irving leads the team in assists, averages 8 points a game. He's played by Taylor. This is Darryl Parton. And a foul. Patrick Hazel working underneath. And head coach of Kansas, Bill Self, in his 8th year. He has won a national championship. He's won 7 straight regular season Big 12 titles, 5 league tournament championships. And his first trip to the Final Four back in 2003, Self's team won the title. And we're looking at Patrick Hazel at the line, where he has struggled, just 48% free throw shooter for the junior.
Yeah, Bill Self has just done an amazing job with this team. And I think along with Duke, they've become probably the 2 most prominent and 2 strongest foundations in terms of college programs. Obviously, there's some great programs, North Carolina, Kentucky, Memphis, but in terms of just year-to-year consistency, how about 4 #1 seeds for Kansas in the last 5 seasons?
Kansas with an illustrious basketball history. They have been to 13 Final Fours, winning 3. 1952, led by Clyde Lovellette, coached by Fawn Allen, a magic name in the game of basketball. Morningstar is fouled. He's blocked. Foul committed by Irving. 1988, they do it under Larry Brown, led by Danny Manning, who's now an assistant coach under Bill Self. And then 2008 with Bill Self leading the way. And this is their 39th tournament appearance.
And don't forget, President Obama picked him to win. So a lot of pressure coming from the White House.
I believe he did pick them last season. And last year, Kansas lost in the second round of Northern Iowa, 69-67. We asked Bill Self about that. Had a whistle before the shot. 3-second violation is called. We'll get back to that point in a moment. Timeout for early moments. A moment ago, we're talking about that tough second-round loss by 2 points to Northern Iowa on the part of Kansas last season, with Ali Farokhmanesh hitting 3-pointers, particularly one with 34 seconds remaining, hit 4 in all to lead Northern Iowa to the win. And we talked about it with Bill Self and asked, you're going to use that as motivation to get by in the early rounds? As we see Matt Griffin, who just checked in, Boston University with the ball. And that is a 3 for John Holland. Well, Bill Self said, no, it's kind of an educational tool, and, you know, the guys learn from it. And then he said, but we did put a copy of Sports Illustrated with the cover photo of Ali Farokhmanesh right on the cover in everyone's locker.
Yeah, a little motivation for the team. You know, it's interesting. Kansas, like a lot of strong programs, has its share of painful losses, and it's not just Northern Iowa, but you go back to 2005, 2006, back-to-back, they lost to Bucknell and Bradley. Much higher seed was Kansas in both cases. And if you talk to Kansas people, Bucknell and Bradley are known as the Killer Bees. So when Boston University showed up on the screen as their opponent, a lot of superstitious Jayhawk fans said, uh-oh, that's a problem.
And we talked about this matchup with the head coach at BU, Pat Chambers, who was really candid about it. Nice move by Irving. And you said, how do you play a team like Kansas? And Pat said, unrealistic. There's no David and Goliath here. We'll try to keep them off balance. And in his case, he said, yes, it could be an educational tool as Reed gets the hop.
I think the big thing with Chambers is he wants his team to play hard and compete and just hang around for as long as it can. He doesn't have any illusions of coming up with these huge upsets, but he's also aware that the longer his team can stay in it, the more chance there is for something like that happening. John Holland catching fire, and as you know, Marv, the pressure starts to mount on the favored team the longer the game goes on.
So BU with the lead once again. Holland has hit 3 of 3. That's a 3-point attempt by Taylor. Kept alive by Morris. Here's Taylor going baseline. And a bad pass. Irving on the run. Kansas able to get back. Griffin for 3. And the foul is called. It's It is a reaching by the Terriers.
John Holland off to the quick start, the America East Conference Player of the Year, knocking down a couple of threes. And Mark, we mentioned the Bucknell upset, and we saw Matt Griffin check in. He just missed that three. His brother actually played for Bucknell in 2005, was on that team if you're looking for an omen, if you're a Boston U fan.
Change on that foul. It's called on Taylor of Kansas. Griffin and Irving are in the backcourt. Holland, a long three-point attempt, just grazed the front of the rim. There's Morningstar to the rim.
I think they counted it. I think they called a goaltend. I didn't see a block. It may have been called because there could have been contact with the backboard. Yeah, he held on to the backboard with his left hand. Is that Holland? Yeah, then by holding on to the backboard with the left hand, that automatically becomes a good basket.
So Brady Morningstar gets credit. The game is tied at 10. Once again, light pressure shown by Kansas. Here's Holland going all the way. Won't count. Offensive foul.
Now Holland's not happy. But Thomas Robinson doing his job, stepping in front of Holland. Patrick Chambers doesn't like it. I don't know if we'll see a replay or not. That was a very close call. Looked like Robinson was moving a little bit.
Elijah Johnson, a sophomore out of Las Vegas, has checked in for Kansas. Morningstar. Rebounded by Holland. And Griffin says, let's slow it down. This is Irving, played by Josh Selby, who just came on. Irving trying to get it down low to Pelage. Fast break, Selby coming up short and rebounded by Jeff Pelage.
And you see Pat Chambers holding both hands up, saying slow it down. We saw the Texas-Oakland game this morning, Marvin. That was a fast-paced team. Oakland, a team that doesn't want to slow it down. Boston U, more traditional Cinderella-style team. They're going to want to slow this game down, shorten it, try to knock down threes, and hope Kansas misses shots.
Foul committed by Pelage, 6'8" junior. Missed the first 11 games of the season due to a sprained ankle.
And one of the reasons BU doesn't want a fast-paced game, look at these numbers. Kansas, the best shooting team in the country. BU, 40% as a team. That's 309th. And this is a team that relies on its defense and its smart play to really put themselves in position to win. But it's a major mismatch talent-wise, but they're hanging around early.
Hazel handling up high, and then Holland fires. Good job by Pelage, diving all over the floor. To Griffin checking with head coach Pat Chambers. And a foul. It is on Elijah Johnson. So BU hanging around her in the early moments. The game tied at 10.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Chevrolet, Bud Light, and by Southwest Airlines.
Welcome back to Tulsa. Our score tied at 10. A very active start for John Holland, the American East Conference Player of the Year, who's competing on a tweaked right ankle. Initially sprained it back in February 24th, sat out the final regular season game, was healthy for the conference tournament, but at yesterday's practice, he aggravated it. He's been in a boot ever since. Came to the stadium today in a boot, but as we can see, the treatment has been obviously very effective, and he's very active with 8 of the 10 points.
Opened up by hitting 3 of his first 5 shots. This is Dom Morris on the drive. And a foul is called on Morris.
Now here's what we're talking about. In practice yesterday, he rolled it. It's been an issue for a few weeks, but Holland, as Seg said, has taken care of it. He looks really good today. Sometimes just the adrenaline of playing in the NCAA tournament will carry you through a lot of pain.
Holland and his Terriers have won 11 in a row, the longest win streak in 7 years for BU. Taylor with a good-looking drive. Tyshawn Taylor, one of the fastest players in the Big 12, a junior out of Hoboken, New Jersey.
When we talk about that 11-game winning streak for BU, Marv, the last one came against Stony Brook in the America East Conference Tournament Championship game. They were down 15-3 early in that game. They could not make a shot. Holland, I think, had 5 points at the half, and he picked it up big time in that second half to help him get the win.
Marcus Morris on the break. Now, Holland at one stretch scored 14 straight points to finish up with 26 for the game. Kansas up 14-10 halfway through the first half.
And a question for BU, where else do they get points besides Holland?
Nice pass, and Holland with the finish.
Boy, he is impressive. Athletic and skilled.
Star gets it down low. They swing it effectively. Marquise Morris is turned back.
Jeff Collage coming over from the weak side of that zone for the block.
Get all the March Madness highlights, box scores, and the TV schedule for TBS, CBS, TNT, and True TV at NCAA.com. Nice pass and a foul. Marquise Morris stripped and was hit from behind. Now the winner of this game will face the winner of tonight's second game here on TBS. Illinois going up against UNLV. Bill Self, one-time head coach at Illinois, and Bill also has a lot of ties to the Tulsa area. Head coach at Oral Roberts turned that program around, although he's quick to mention at one stretch they lost 18 straight games. He said that was a learning experience. And then head coach at Tulsa for 3 years, moved on to Illinois, and has had great success.
Got a little more talent here than he had some of his other stops. And how about some of the subplots with the coaches here? We've got with UNLV, we've got Lon Kruger coaching against his old team, Illinois. So we actually have the last 3 Illinois head coaches in the building tonight. And as Lon Kruger said, why not just get Lou Henson here? We'll cover about 4 decades of Illinois basketball.
He's called it a convention.
Yeah.
DJ Irving kicks it right back. And that's a 3 for Darryl Parton.
Well, that's going to be key for BU. I mean, we asked who are they going to find besides Holland to score. If Parton and Irving can get going a little bit offensively, and they can continue to stay active in this zone and force misses from Kansas, they'll stick around in this game.
Tied at 15. The reverse comes up short by Marcus Morris. And BU with a chance to take the lead once again.
Boy, Kansas has missed a lot of very easy shots here.
Martin had an notion to fire up another 3. Now Irving resets. Irving goes behind the back. Irving draws the foul. Nice move by DJ Irving.
I think they got Morningstar on the foul. Irving's quick enough to get to the rim. The question is, will he be able to finish, especially over the Morris twins?
85% free throw shooter. Programming reminder, Wild and Nocturnal. Catch Conan in his natural habitat on TBS All New Conan weeknights at 11:10 Central. Only on TBS. DJ Irving, freshman out of Chester, Pennsylvania. As you look at Thomas Robinson, who just checked in for Kansas. There's DJ. He says he plans to major in mass media broadcast. Any advice you have for DJ?
Yeah, go for it. It's a pretty good gig.
BU does have an excellent broadcast and journalism curriculum. Steve Kerr says go for it.
I know Syracuse has a great program in that field as well. Reed knocks the three-pointer down. I like the section of the BU media guide where it talks about some of their alums. And the first one I see, the first two on the list were Martin Luther King and Howard Stern.
It's an eclectic group.
Yeah, I guess.
Kansas by 2. Just under 8 left. First half. All right, Steve, let's take a look at our tournament summary.
Kyrie Irving coming back, 14 points in his first game in several months. And how about Michigan? How do you win a game by 30 points and not get to the free throw line or not make one? It's just amazing. Never been done before.
7.5 remaining in this first half here in Tulsa. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager, Boston University. And a hang-in to this point. Kansas and BU meeting for the first time ever. A #1 against a number 16. A number 16 has never beaten a #1. Marcus Morris with the bucket.
First time we've seen man-to-man from BU, and it's like Kansas was excited to see it. They immediately got into their offense and found a good shot for Morris.
Holland for 3. Wow. Launching from way downtown.
He's got range, and he extends that shot from behind his head. It's almost impossible to block it.
Morris was off, but the follow is good and a foul.
Thomas Robinson, wow.
Sophomore out of Washington, D.C. right there for that missed shot and a putback. Foul is called on Patrick Hazel.
And more than likely, this is what you're going to see, is just Kansas wearing down BU inside tonight. The size of the Morris twins and Robinson, the depth in the backcourt as well, and where it'll take its toll is on the boards. Robinson, just a man down there.
Someone may have stepped in. Late violation, free throw waved off. And Hillself not happy. John Holland, the high man, with 13 points. Leading BU, he's hit 3 from beyond that three-point line. All in the hands of Holland. Savage came up short, but they keep it alive. Irving. Shot clock is down to 5. This is Don Morris with a rainbow from downtown.
Boy, he's got range out there, the big fella.
So the game is tied at 22. BU 5 of 10 from three-point land. Nice move by Taylor, but off on the shot. Taylor going behind the back. Nearly coughed it up. Reed passed on a 3. Hits the 2. Tyrell Reed, a senior from Burlington, Kansas, a first-team academic All-American. He's already graduated with a 3.65 GPA in pre-physical therapy and has been accepted into Kansas Medical School. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Pretty nice move there from Reed, too. The pump fake and the jumper showing a lot of poise.
Little heat check there by Morris. That is waved off. Marcus Morris was fouled. Foul on Pelage. Be sure to check out our game tracks at the top of your television screen and find scores of other tournament games going on. I think the remote control was working at a rapid pace yesterday.
I know it was for me. Some unbelievable games. How about the Michigan State UCLA finish? The Morehead State three-pointer to beat Louisville. Temple. And I think Temple can give San Diego State a lot of problems tomorrow. That'll be an interesting matchup.
And this Sunday we will have the Longhorns of Texas, Wildcats of Arizona advancing from this afternoon's play here in Tulsa.
Arizona just barely hanging on. And that Memphis team, you don't see that type of speed very often at every position on a college team. That was impressive. They just couldn't quite pull off the upset.
Just under 5 remaining first half.
Kansas picking up its defense big time. BU offense has been pushed extremely far away from the hoop.
Holland with a spin. Holland handled by Morningstar. Good job by Morris in fronting Marcus Morris. Dom Morris against Marcus Morris. Matt Griffin is on it. And a timeout. So BU will talk it over. Coming up on 4 minutes remaining. First half, Kansas by 3.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Lowe's, Napa, and by Mercedes-Benz.
Check of our game summary, and BU has been doing it with the three-point shot. They've hit 5 of 11 from downtown. Kansas up 25-22. Terriers also able to stay with the Jayhawks off the board.
Yeah, I mean, they're shooting 42%, which is higher than their season average, remarkably, given the level of competition they are used to playing against. Holland with the miss, and Kansas at just 40%.
Offensive foul as Holland was sent to the floor. Markeith Morris called on that personal.
Bruh. What's up, Dwight? What you got in the bag?
Big Mac, fries.
I'll play you for it.
My lunch?
First one to miss watches the other one eat. No jump shot.
Bet. Flat-footed, 540.
360 for the free throw line, Olympic-style landing.
Great show, guys, and thanks for lunch.
Who's that?
I have no idea.
He's taking our lunch, though.
Ernie Johnson in New York with a Southwest Tournament update. Long Island Blackbirds, North Carolina Tar Heels, and watch Dexter Strickland of UNC going wall to wall. 14-5 early lead as we get you back to Tulsa. Marvin Steve.
All right, thank you, Ernie. 25-2 Kansas over BU. The Terriers of Boston University in possession. Holland again. John Holland has 15 points out of St. Benedict's Prep in New Jersey by way of the Bronx, averaging 19 and 6 during the season. The America East Player of the Year, and he has had a terrific first half. Marcus Morris, the twin brother of Markeith. Markeith is 7 minutes older than Marcus, and he claims that he's much more mature.
Well, they can both shoot. They can both play. I know that.
Holland trying to shake off Marcus Morris. A series of spins, and then gets it down low. Nice ball movement, but Parton could not hit. Reed. And back comes Irving. Chased by Morningstar. Oh! Marquise Morris got bottled up and fouled. Foul on Holland. That is his second.
That is the team's 9th, so it'll be a 1-and-1 here for Markieff Morris.
Markieff 68% free throw shooter. Coming up on AT&T at the half, we will get you caught up on all the latest tournament news, highlights, and updates, all coming up. AT&T at the half.
Matt Chambers telling his team slow it down. He just wants to get to half with this kind of deficit, or maybe even creep a little closer. Just keep it close. Don't do anything crazy. A couple turnovers and Kansas hoops right here, and all of a sudden it opens up to an 8 or 10 point lead at halftime. It's a huge difference in your mental makeup at that point.
Oh, nice move. Irving able to penetrate with a reverse English, and it leads to a Kansas timeout. So BU within 2. We'll be right back. Only a 2-point lead for Kansas, second-ranked team in the country, first in this region. And BU able to hang around off the 5 3-pointers and a 15-point first half by John Holland.
You know, 7 turnovers you saw came early, but Kansas couldn't really capitalize. They missed some shots in transition and some easy looks against this zone. And that's allowed BU to stay in this thing.
Morningstar for 3. Brady Morningstar. A senior from Lawrence, Kansas, at age 25, the oldest player in the Big 12. He is a redshirt senior, biggest lead of the game for the Jayhawks.
And the Jayhawk faithful, finally something to cheer about.
They try to trap Irving. Morris for 3, yes. He hit from the other side, and now from the left-hand corner.
Well, he's not a high percentage shooter, about 32% from beyond the arc, but he made 15 of them this season. So we know he's capable, and 2 of them tonight so far.
The lead is down to 2. Morris right back, Marcus Morris. So the Morris twins beginning to heat up in the latter stages of this first half.
All 3 Morrises heating up here. A lot of Morrises.
Offensive foul as Morningstar was run into. Foul committed by Darryl Parton.
Pat Chambers shouting out defensive instructions for his team. He's done a nice job of mixing up his defense, going back and forth between man and zone here. Maybe kept Kansas a little bit off balance offensively.
The winner of Kansas BU faces the winner of tonight's second game, Illinois and UNLV. It's a 2-second differential as the Jayhawks work the clock down to conclude this first half. Mayshawn Taylor. Marcus Morris. Rejected. Jeff Pelage coming over for the block.
Second time we've seen Pelage come over from the weak side and make a big block. Looked like Morris had the lay-in. And look at the elevation from Pelage. Now 1 second on the shot clock for Kansas.
And 3.8 for the half. Morningstar will look to throw in. And here is Morris. He got it off on time. Irving fires. And that is the end of the first half. And Pat Chambers, the head coach of Boston University, has to be very pleased. His team down by only 4 to one of the great teams in the country.
They've done a nice job at both ends of the floor. Holland has kept them in it with his offense, and then defensively, as we talked about, changing defenses, forcing some difficult situations for Kansas, but also the Jayhawks missing some easy looks.
John Holland, 15 points, 6 of 10 shooting. Kansas led by Marcus Morris, 10 and 7. Let's go to Craig.
Well, Coach, the best shooting team in the country having problems currently against the zone, only 33 points. How do you change that in the second half?
Well, we got to get inside touches, and their zone's good, and it's active, and we didn't do a good job attacking it. And, of course, on the other end, they did a great job of making really hard three-point shots, and their big guys stepped out and made a couple, but we played so tight. We got to relax and loosen up a little bit.
All right, thanks a lot. The number 1 seed against the number 16 seed, but separated by only 4 points at the half, and we'll be back. with AT&T at the half in just a moment.
Half is sponsored by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network.
Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to AT&T at the half. Greg Gumbel along with Greg Anthony, Kenny Smith, and Charles Barkley, and we are at halftime of the game taking place out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This will be a surprise to a lot of people. Kansas leading Boston University, but only by 33-29. Kansas, the nation's leading team in the country, shooting at 51%. They're shooting 42% in the first half.
Yeah, give Boston a lot of credit defensively, but also offensively. John Holland has done the job. 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 5 from beyond the three-point line for 15 points. He has been the best player on the floor. You see Morris there able to get the finish. And here you are with the penetration, finding him outside from beyond the arc. And that's what St. Peter's has done a good job of, the penetration here. Morningstar knocks down the 3. And again, good ball movement, great execution offensively by Boston.
You guys are veteran observers of the tournament. You know that a 16 seed has never beaten a 1.
Never beaten a 1, but they've kept it close at times for halves. But the one thing that you do if you're Kansas, you pound it more inside, and you have to turn the game over. You have to make BU play at a faster pace. Holland is very comfortable out there, and the zone has actually bothered Kansas. So you have to get a couple of easy baskets to make BU extend their defense, because right now they have no problem because they don't have to extend their defense.
But 2 of my friends coach Boston.
You have friends all over the world.
All your friends losing, too.
And this is going to be another friend who loses. But you know what I do? I think the zone has really frustrated Kansas. It got the game at a slower tempo because they know they're not as physically gifted as Kansas. But Pat Chambers and Brian Daly have done a fantastic job. They're making it close. I don't think they can hold on, but they're playing fantastic first half.
Right now it's a 33-29 lead. The top seed in the Southwest, the Kansas Jayhawks, in the lead over Boston University.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Best Buy, Fidelity Investments, State Farm, and by Coke.
We are moments away from the start of the second half. Kansas 33, BU 29. And Craig Sager caught up with Boston University head coach Pat Chambers. Craig.
Well, Coach, you may be the 16th seed, but you won 11 games in a row and you're only 4 points behind the #1 seed. How confident are you can pull off this upset, and how are you going to do it?
We just got to keep playing hard. We got to make shots. It's that simple. Play hard, make shots, try to get a couple rebounds, hope they miss some shots.
All right, thanks a lot. Back to you, Mark.
All right, Craig. Earlier, Craig chatted with Bill Self, the head coach of Kansas, who said that the team is tight, and therefore it's a 4-point game. How do you turn tightness around for the second half?
Well, it's tough. I mean, the nature of this tournament is that it's one and done, and everybody's been talking about Northern Iowa all week with this Kansas team. I think it shows. They look tight, but they've got to just go out there and let it fly. They can knock down some of these open threes they're getting against the zone and break the game open. What you see, I mean, the pace of the game has been slow. The turnovers have been there, but Boston U, more than anything, hanging tough on the boards and keeping the possessions pretty equal. I think Kansas just has to let loose a little bit here, pick up the pace and knock down some shots, and they'll be fine.
Kansas in possession as this second half gets underway. Marcus Morris, this is pretty. Morningstar gets it inside, and Marcus Morris stopped, and then he's fouled.
How about the work of Pelage down there? Was that Pelage or was that Hazel?
That was Hazel on the foul.
Yeah. But the shot blocking at the rim between Pelage and Hazel has been really impressive here for Boston U.
For Hazel, his third. Marquise Morris, 68% free throw shooter. He averages 13 points, 8 rebounds, leads the Jayhawks in block shots. Kansas 32-2, won their first 18 games and then lost at home to Texas. back in January. The other loss mid-February at Kansas State. They've won their last 8, including the win over Texas last Saturday in the Big 12 championship game. This is the biggest lead of the night for Kansas. DJ Irving works the point, and it's kicked out. Last touch by Tyshawn Taylor of Kansas. Boston University has done wonders with their basketball program. It's their 7th NCAA tournament appearance, but they last made it back in 2002, lost in the first round to Cincinnati. They are best known for their hockey. They've had much success in that sport, winning 5 national championships. Last winning in 2009, they produced a large number of National Hockey League players. That's taken away from Holland. Kansas had a fast break going, but they turn it over.
When you talk about their NCAA tournament history, the deepest they ever went was the Elite 8 in 1959, and they lost that year to West Virginia. And you may be able to guess who West Virginia's star was that season. Well, you know already.
Well, I know it's Jerry West. I was pausing just
for dramatic effect.
The other possibilities, Hot Rod Hundley and Rod Thorne, but Hot Rod before Jerry and then Rod after. 1959. That's a 3-pointer for Darryl Parton. So BU keeps coming at him.
It's amazing. These games, one possession to the next makes such a difference as Marcus Morris lays it in. But every single time an underdog team like Boston U can knock down a 3, it just takes a little of the confidence away from the favorite. And Kansas trying to pick up its defensive pressure here, but Boston U hanging tight.
12 points for Marcus Morris. Irving stripped. And it's deflected out, last touch by Kansas. Bill Self, head coach of the Jayhawks. We mentioned the Tulsa connections. One-time head coach at Oral Roberts. Turned that program around. Successful at University of Tulsa. That's a 5-second violation. They did not get it in time. Pat Chambers, BU head coach. He was a point guard at Philadelphia University. He started out as a walk-on and finished his college career as the school's all-time assist leader.
There's been some good coaches at BU in the past. Rick Pitino and John Keister. Coached the Terriers at one time.
Offensive foul. Second on Marcus Morris. Long Island University and the Tar Heels of North Carolina playing right now in Charlotte. That game is over on CBS. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg, Tracy Wolfson.
I hear that's just a 2-point game. So Carolina and Kansas both a little bit of a struggle here tonight.
Once again, we have those remote controls working very fluidly around the country. This is Hazel. Martin for 3.
That was halfway down.
Open shot for Taylor from downtown. Hit the line. Markieff Morris with the follow.
That's the real strength of this club. They're incredibly balanced, but the Morris twins and their work on the glass and in the paint is what makes it a special team.
And you can hear it from the Kansas contingent in this crowd here in Tulsa. Good run here by the Jayhawks. They've extended to a 7-point advantage.
Ernie Johnson in New York. LIU is 0-3 all-time in NCAA tournament play, but they're really battling North Carolina. Kenny Onyechi, part of a 14-5 run. It's a 4-point game. Back to you, Mark.
All right, thank you, Ernie. Kansas with its biggest lead of the night. The last 2 times the Jayhawks took their biggest lead. BU responded with a 3-pointer. Let's see how they answer here. They're down by 7. We are early second half. Oh, nice move. And the tip missed. Alive lost his balance. And back comes Taylor. Morningstar with the lead pass. Full count. Offensive foul on Marcus Morris. It's a charge.
Yeah, great play by Holland, who was waiting for Morris in the lane. Looked like Kansas was going to have a lay-in, and he gets his feet set, establishes position. Good call by the official.
For Marcus Morris, his third. He takes a seat, replaced by Thomas Robinson.
Let's see if Pat Chambers draws something up for John Holland here after that 15-point first half. He has not taken a shot here in the second, and BU has to have his scoring. They're going to have any chance of pulling off this upset.
Steve, I mentioned the ovation from the Kansas portion of the crowd. A lot of folks made the drive, only 3.5 hours from Lawrence, Kansas to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, they travel well, as the saying goes.
Rebounded by Robinson. Tyshawn Taylor gets the pick. Robinson, Morningstar, nice feed. That's 9 points for Markieff Morris.
A great pass from Morningstar. He and Tyrell Reed, so good in situational basketball. They understand spacing, angles, great feed, and they're both three-point shooters, so they really give the Morris twins targets on the perimeter.
Here's Holland for three. That was a force. Rebounded by Markieff Morris. Morningstar. Palage with that rebound.
Kansas is about 2 possessions away from just breaking this thing open. Boston U doesn't really have the firepower to come back from a big deficit, and Holland has cooled off a little bit here in the second half.
Kansas did a good job keeping the ball away from Holland. Markieff Morris. Morningstar try to get it back. Here's Parton. Oh, what a move. Good finish. Made the move on Tyrell Reed. Morningstar. And Robinson lost it. Timeout called by BU. Kansas up by 9. Let's take a look at the Infinity Coaches Spotlight as we check the resume of Bill Self, which is rather impressive.
Fantastic coach. 8th season at Kansas. Look at the tournament record, 15-6. Of course, the 2008 NCAA championship. Kansas fans will never forget that Mario Chalmers three-point jumper at the buzzer to send that game against Memphis into overtime.
Boston University in possession. Here's Palage. Good defense here by Kansas.
Jayhawk fans wanted a double dribble or a travel or something on Palage.
BU down to 38% shooting. Morris with a long three. Kansas only at 42%. For the season, they are a sizzling 51. Morris. Kansas leads the nation in field goal percentage and 39% from three, although they have not shot the three ball effectively.
They're getting plenty of good looks tonight. I mean, they just can't seem to get that 1 or 2 shot burst that'll break this game open. They are playing great defense, however, and Boston U really struggling to find a hoop.
Griffin hit on a reach-in by Elijah Johnson. There's Danny Manning, an assistant coach on Bill Self's staff. Danny, an All-American at Kansas, led the Jayhawks to the NCAA championship under Larry Brown back in 1988.
Yeah, very sad news about a month ago. His father, Ed, passing away, former Kansas assistant on Larry Brown's staff. We had a chance to see Danny yesterday and give him our condolences. What a player he was.
Morningstar with the reverse high off glass.
Now you can just feel it. This game is about to break open. Kansas's defense is just wearing out Boston U, and they're not getting those timely three-point shots or the explosiveness from Holland this half. And this is very close to breaking wide open.
8 unanswered points by the Jayhawks. Barton having difficulty locating shots. The clock down at 10. And a timeout is taken by BU head coach Pat Chambers.
Now Kansas rolling Morningstar on the up and under, and the Jayhawks trying to break it open.
It has been a different story for Boston University in the second half from three-point territory. John Holland hit 3 from downtown in the first half, and they have stifled him thus far in the second half.
Well, they're pushing this Terrier offense so far away from the hoop that they can't get any good looks near the basket, so they're being forced to shoot a lot of threes. And with Kansas feeling that, they're sensing that Boston U is starting to crumble a little bit under the pressure, and they're just picking up their defense now.
Terriers just 1 of 9 from beyond that three-point line in the second half. Ball was kicked out, so they reset the shot clock. Now 10 remaining. Nice move by Irving, and he is fouled. DJ Irving spinning his way into the lane.
And he felt Elijah Johnson on him, and he just that little pump fake got Johnson to lean. Nice job by Irving drawing the foul.
You can check out the Powerade Iron 4-point performance ranking system to get a peek into the science behind tournament success. See where your team ranks at ncaa.com/Powerade. DJ Irving averaging 8 points a game, leads BU in assists. Made the conference all-rookie team, as did Dom Morris. That stopped the 10-0 run by Kansas.
BU showing a little full-court pressure, and they dropped back into a zone. This was an effective defense for them in the first half.
Here's Selby. Little with the rebound. And it's a tie-up. The possession arrow pointing in the direction of, Boston University.
Yeah. So they cut it back to 9. They bring Holland back in. This is one of those key possessions you talk about. Holland yet to get on the board, but you know, if the Terriers now can knock down a 3, all of a sudden it's 6. The crowd senses something happening, and the game changes again.
Well, Matt Griffin is in there along with DJ Irving in the backcourt. Griffin can hit the 3. Irving goes 1 on 3, and very fortunate, got bailed out. He was fouled.
I think Kansas fans wanted to travel. Looked like he almost hit the floor on the way down as he got fouled. His penetration paying off. Let's take a look. He's getting into the lane, and the little reach there by Little, I think, was what the officials saw. You got to just keep your hands straight up and make Irving finish over the top.
Fouled on the act, 15 foul. Committed by Kansas. Jeff Pelage, a scrappy player, back on the floor. And now Irving will take a seat. Mike Terry, a freshman out of Philadelphia, will come on and provide I would think, a brief rest for DJ Irving.
Yep. And I think Chambers just wants to give Irving a minute or 2. There's a timeout coming under 12, so there's a chance he could get an actual 3 or 4 minutes of rest here and come right back in.
Here's Mario Little. Very friendly roll for his first field goal.
Kansas just so deep. They're bringing in waves of players. You see Selby and Little, Reed, Morningstar, Tyshawn Taylor, so many guards. And they're really trying to wear out BU with this defensive pressure.
Now Morris pulls it back. Matt Griffin. Watched by Josh Selby. Trying to use a pick, but cannot. Shot clock to 5. Griffin off the dribble. Rebounded by Robinson. That was Terry with the shot way off. And that is an offensive foul.
Yep, good call by the officials. Nice defensive position there for BU.
A charge taken by Tyshawn Taylor, called for the foul right here. Kansas up by 9. For instant analysis and highlights of every tournament game, you can log on to SI.com. Well, the winner between Kansas and BU will face the winner of tonight's second game here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, matching UNLV and Illinois. Third round action here on Sunday. This afternoon of the doubleheader, Texas advanced, beating Oakland. Arizona just did get by Memphis. Foul is called. It is on Selby. Selby of Kansas commits the 7th team foul for the Jayhawks. So John Holland, who has had a very quiet second half, is at the line. He had all 15 of his points in the first half, including 3 from downtown.
This is exactly what he needed. A couple of easy points at the free throw line. Maybe we'll get him going. He's 0 for 3 in the second half. BU 1 for 10 overall. 1 field goal in just over 9 minutes.
Now the Marcus Morris and Markieff Morris, the twins, check back in. Marcus went out after picking up a 3rd foul. Good ball movement here by the Jayhawks. Selby with a run and scores.
Nice work against that zone. Kansas switched the ball back and forth across the court 2 or 3 times, and that gave Selby the room to roam offensively, getting that defense on the move.
Josh Selby, a freshman out of Baltimore. Had kind of an up and down season, was not eligible the first 9 games, and then struggled with an ankle injury.
It hasn't been the same since that injury, and Dom Morris knocks down his 3rd three. Big shot for BU, down to 6.
Taylor and Selby in the backcourt with the Morris twins and Reed. Selby, the 3. On the back tap, handled by Irving. With DJ Irving back on the floor. Here's Parton, and a crowd forced it. Back comes Selby. Beautiful move, switch hands in midair.
Gorgeous move and big exchange there. I thought Irving should have gone to Holland on the left wing on that previous play. BU ends up with a tough shot.
Kansas showing light pressure every possession, and they have certainly affected the Terriers. Different story at the defensive end in the second half for the Jayhawks. Irving on a pull-up offensive foul.
Check out the move from Selby going up, drawing a little contact, kind of switches hands. And that's why Kansas fans are so excited about Selby and his potential.
9 minutes remaining second half. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager. We're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And Kansas taking command in the second half. They have an 8-point lead. Morningstar for 3, yes. Brady Morningstar, an excellent 3-point shooter, 40% from downtown. He extends to an 11-point lead.
That shot is going to be there against this zone. BU knows it has to give up something. They've given up a lot of open threes tonight, but Kansas to this point really hasn't taken advantage.
Irving It's tipped home. Patrick Hazel getting a piece of it.
Yeah, that's what happens when you penetrate. You draw the defense, and that opens up those rebounding lanes. Nice job by Irving getting to the hoop.
There's Taylor for three. Tyshawn Taylor. And Kansas now hitting its three-point attempts.
Now they're getting wide open looks. And you get the sense that maybe they're finally loosening up a little bit here. Because as Bill Self said at halftime, they've looked tight.
Holland. Selby has been a big factor. Morris from deep. Whoa! Markieff Morris shows his range. Connecting from downtown. Timeout called by Boston University.
Now the inside out, that's how Kansas wants to play. Force the defense to respond to the post and pass it back out. And then in transition, Morris feeling it. Kansas up 15.
Kansas with its biggest lead of the night. It was a 4-point game. At the half, they now lead it by 15.
I like Pat Chambers in the timeout. If he called his guys over, he knew that there was nothing that they had done wrong. He was just trying to stop momentum. He came over, gave everybody a high five. Just wants them to keep playing hard.
Traveling violation. And a timeout is called. So we will step away, just under 7.5 remaining.
Ernie Johnson in New York right now on True TV. Marquette and Xavier. Marquette's Jimmy Butler with the steal. Watch Darius Johnson own him. Give it right back to the guy who made the steal. It's like Steve Kerr-like unselfishness. Marv.
I think Ernie's been in the studio too long.
Maybe. I would have kept the ball for myself anyway.
Off the turnover, BU in control. The Morris twins have taken over in this second half. And a foul is called. It is on Patrick Hazel.
Tough break for Holland. Like he had that one halfway down.
Boston University playing without Jake O'Brien, a 6'8" junior, out for the season. An important player. There he is, averaging 11.6 rebounds, but he fractured a bone in his foot, recovering from surgery, and that's a very difficult loss for BU. Marcus Morris. So he has 14 points, 8 rebounds. Markieff Morris, 12 points, 7 rebounds, similar stats. Now the brothers say they live together, they hang out together, they take the same classes, they have the same statistics.
And Bill Self said yesterday they think when they go to the NBA they're going to get drafted together to the same team.
I don't know about that. Thinking of other twins who have been in that situation. Irving with that last bucket, and then Morningstar right back from downtown.
They finally loosened up. You know, Bill Self talked about it. They looked tight. They were hesitant to shoot in the first half. Now they're starting to let it fly. And this game getting out of hand.
What do you think of twins? Robin Lopez with Phoenix Suns, Brooke Lopez with the New Jersey Nets, with the Collins twins, Jaron and Jason. Ball goes back the other way.
No, I think this is really the ideal situation for Kansas. I always felt in the NCAA tournament, you're best off kind of getting through the first round. I don't think you want to come out and play your best, because when you play kind of poorly in the first round, but you win, you still have that edge. You're a little angry. You have a good practice the next day.
Tough to control that, though.
Well, it is. It's impossible to control. You can't tell your guys don't play well, but win. But when it happens, it seems to me teams, especially powerful teams like Kansas, come out and play much better in that second, or in this case, third round. And I would look for KU as they break this one open to play a lot better on Sunday.
Tyshawn Taylor with that running bank shot. Right, you tell your team, don't play that well in an opening game, but that'll really help us the next game.
It's a strategy. I would use that strategy as a coach.
Just under 5 minutes remaining in this second half. It is a 20-point Kansas lead. Griffin having difficulty locating shots. Now he's open for three. Marcus Morris with another rebound.
Kansas has done a much better job in the second half of guarding the ball and not allowing penetration. And that allows the other 4 defenders to stay home with shooters. BU has not had the same looks they had in the first half.
And not allowing John Holland to get in position for shots as he did in the first half. Timeout. We'll be back to Tulsa in a moment. You can watch every tournament game live online with NCAA March Madness on demand. Check it out at mmod.ncaa.com. How about Kansas, an 18-4 run to break it open the last 5.5 minutes.
And I love what Pat Chambers did with his team in that timeout. He gathered them around him, and he was screaming in a positive way as Markieff Morris gets fouled going to the hoop. But Chambers knows that this is a defining moment for his program. He knows they're going to lose this game, but it's about fighting to the finish and finishing this game the right way and continuing the effort that they've given throughout this game. This is not just about the next 4 minutes. It's about the next several years for this program as he continues to build it.
Markieff Morris, 15 points, 12 have come in the second half. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, you know why Patrick Chambers says, you know why I act like I do, why I have so much energy, why I embrace life, why I love this job. This is why. And he'll show you a big scar that he has on the side of his face when he just narrowly escaped death. He was a walk-on, as you mentioned, Marv, at Philadelphia University, became a very successful businessman, was out burning the candles at both ends, got stabbed by a jealous boyfriend, decided to re-establish his life, new values, turned to coaching, and lives right by campus and goes home every day for lunch with his wife, Courtney. Marvin.
All right, Craig. Matt Griffin able to knock down a three, and I know he's talked about that part of his life with his team on many an occasion.
Horrible thing that happened, obviously, but something as Marcus Morris knocks down the jumper, something that he's tried to use as a teaching tool for his team and himself.
When you look at Pat Chambers, he is right out of Hollywood casting when you say, hey, get me a basketball coach.
He reminds me a little bit of Scott Skiles, you know, the former Michigan State star and current coach of the Bucks. He's got that look, that kind of hardcore, tough look about him.
Just under 3 remaining in the game, and Kansas with a 70-48 lead. Markieff Morris, played by Dom Morris. And as Reed makes his move, foul is called to block on Matt Griffin. We'll be right back.
We at Bud Light, like most advertisers, were going to run a 3D commercial this year. In fact, we made one, but it didn't test well. Here we go. Actually, it tested too well. We concluded that running this commercial would have been inappropriate, so we didn't. You're welcome, America.
It's the sure sign of a good time. The just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
After 100 years of hybrid technology, someone finally built one you'll actually enjoy driving. The 360 horsepower, 32 miles per gallon Infiniti M Hybrid, the high-performance hybrid.
If you haven't seen Conan, tune into Conan, starring me, Conan. This is getting out of hand. No, it's not. Conan.
Conan, all new, weeknights at 11, only on TBS. Very funny.
Back in Tulsa, let's take a look at the Coke Zero impressive moment.
Now Kansas finally breaking this game open from the three-point line. We saw Morningstar, Tyshawn Taylor, and then Morris in transition, Markieff Morris, and those three hoops finally shed the Terriers off of the Jayhawks, and this game has been a blowout ever since.
And Kansas will go on to meet the winner of the second game here tonight between Illinois and UNLV. Nice lob thrown. The lob pass for Jeff Withy, who had just come on. He's a 7-foot sophomore out of San Diego. So Bill Self going deeper into his bench. A late bucket for Holland. 15 of his 19 coming in the first half. Now Elijah Johnson works the point. It's Johnson. Able to set it up. Rutherford off the mark. Travis Rutherford, sophomore out of Kansas City. Under 2 minutes to play. Martin is rejected, and he is fouled by Thomas Robinson. Look at the Southwest region. It'll be Kansas going up, as I mentioned, against the winner of our second game, the Running Rebels fighting Illini.
And you look at the other side of the bracket with those upsets, and whoever can move on, whether it's Kansas, UNLV, Illinois, and they got a little softer bracket now on the other side.
Saw a shot of the Marcus twins. Marcus Morris with 16 points, and Markieff Morris with 15. Elijah Johnson. Travis Rutherford. Withy. Robinson with a spin and rejected. The block by Patrick Hazel. Darryl Parton for BU, so it's a 72-53 lead. The #1 seed, Kansas, putting away the number 16 seed, doing it in the second half. It was a 4-point game at halftime. Griffin with the steal. Down to a half minute left. There's Park. Robinson rebound.
Pat Chambers has to be happy, though, with the way his team is continuing to compete for the rest of this game. Now he's going to try to get some subs in. But heck of a season for the Terriers. America East Conference Tournament champions, and this experience is something these players will remember for a long time.
7th trip to the NCAA tournament. They'd won 11 in a row. Longest win streak in 7 years. And nice touch right there. Pat Chambers with a hug of his best player.
Yeah, what a career for John Holland. Goes down as one of the great players in Boston U history.
19 points for Holland, 15 in the first half, and this one is in the books. 72-53 victory for Kansas. They move on to play on Sunday against the winner between the Running Rebels of UNLV and the Fighting Illini of Illinois. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager saying so long for now. We'll be back a little bit later on here on TBS. The Kansas Jayhawks advance.